The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is the press conference with Jermell Charlo and Tony Harrison. It got pretty heated. They're scheduled to have the rematch on December 21st of this year. However, it was scheduled before, and Tony Harrison pulled out because of an ankle injury. I'm going to turn this one over to Trill. What was your thoughts on that press conference?
That press conference? I'm real fast. Tony Harrison, 2-0 at press conferences. Charlo's going to win the fight, but Tony Harrison, to me, I thought Charlo won the first fight. It was just, the thing was a lot of people were shocked. You didn't see Charlo when, you know, sometimes like when you go out to get a knockout, you leave yourself vulnerable. And Tony Harrison had some eye-catching shots that people wasn't used to Charlo being hit with, getting his head snapped back like that. It looked crazy. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, Charlo needs to really, me and G was kicking him earlier, he really needs to work on this trash talk if this is what he's going to do.
He's not built for the trash talk.
Because he's not. And he makes himself look like everything with Tony Harrison is saying. Like, we get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get in the money, you get into the bag, Al Heyman's taking care of you. But at the end of the day, like, you look like a clown. You know what I'm saying? Like, and exactly what Tony Harrison is saying. How you move and how you come off, you look real clownish. And you ain't moving nothing. All your little words and your little threats about gang stuff. I'm trying to tell you, like, Tony Harrison is from Detroit, the home of Maserati Rick, the home of Demetrius Holloway. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying these names. These is gangsters from Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
And Barry Gordy. Sorry.
Big Meech. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to just say anything to him. You know what I'm saying? You got to show him. And when you got in the ring, you know what I'm saying? You didn't knock him out. You know what I'm saying? I gave you the victory, but you didn't win. They gave it to him. And then you turned around while he was showing you love. You turned around and lied on the man. So he feels a certain way towards you. You know what I'm saying? So instead of trying to go so hard and talk about gang stuff and, oh, this is Pyru and all this stuff that doesn't matter, because the only thing that matters is what you do inside that square circle. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Tony Harrison is trying to tell you. Like, all that is cool. All that tough stuff you saying is cool. But you lost. You know what I'm saying? Even if you feel like you won, at the end of the day, you still lost. So you can't cry. This is what makes a man now. You're going to take your loss, and then you're going to bounce back from it. You can't just keep crying about your loss. Now is your chance to, you know, all right, you got that. Now I'm going to show you that it was a fluke. You can do that. But the way that you're going about it, it makes you look like a cornball. And that's why Tony Harrison is winning the press conference beefs. It's because it's how you acting. You coming in there looking like somebody's auntie with the long sweater robe on and everything. You know what I mean? Like, for real. And Tony Harris just keeping it real. Came in there, sweatpants and Timbs. That's what I was going to wear today. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was going to wear today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying.
That's what Muhammad should have worn.
Keep it boxing. If you're Charlo, keep it boxing.
Oh, man.
Stay away from all the other stuff. Just keep it boxing. Keep it boxing. Keep it boxing. Because as far as anything else, you're losing. I like Tony Harrison as a person. You know what I'm saying? He reminds me of somebody that grew up with me. You know what I'm saying? Charlo, let your hands do the talking.
Complex, I know you said you just caught the highlights of the press conference, but did you see the first fight?
I did see the first fight, and look, I think Charlo is a guy who's gone through life winning a lot, and so he's not used to losing, and now he's getting caught out of character because now a guy who beat him, he's used to knocking dudes out. Because didn't he knock out Erickson Lubin like cold, right? Knocked him out like dead, right? So he's the dude who knows I got this kind of fear factor, so he kind of uses that to scare guys. Tony Harrison's not scared of him. He's already been in there with him, and he beat him. I mean, it was debatable, but like he still got the nod. I just thought it was funny when I saw the press conference. The funniest part was when Tony Harrison was digging into him, and Charlo tried to pick up the mic and turn it on, and he couldn't, and then he put it back. Like, that looks real bad, dog. Things like that. There's a fight before the fight, and like you're losing that. The mental battle, you know what I mean? Stuff like that looks terrible. So I don't know. I mean, I think. The rematch is gonna happen. We're gonna see what happens. I think the Charlos do look kind of goofy sometimes. Which one of them came into the thing with like a lion head on his head? Like they kind of wear, I don't know, goofy stuff. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. What happens in the ring is what determines who you are as a fighter. So I think they're both gonna come in with a lot of bad blood. I love to see that. I'm looking forward to the rematch. I think Tony Harrison did win the press conference. That's what everybody's saying, and it's from what I saw, the few highlights I saw. But they still got to fight. At the end of the day, they got to fight, and let's see what happens. If Tony Harrison can pull it off again, props to him. But, Charlo is the man at PBC. He's got all that behind him, so it's going to be tough anyways. But Harrison did it the first time, so he can do it again.
Who did you have winning the fight the first time?
I didn't actually score it. I just was, watching it. I didn't, score round by round, but I wasn't mad with Tony Harrison winning. So I thought it was fine. And I knew they were going to have a rematch, so I thought it was good with that. But to me, honestly, I kind of like seeing underdogs shake up the division sometimes because I think they were just assuming Charlo and Hurd were going to meet each other at some point. And then literally right back after each other, they both lost. Harrison beats Charlo, and then J-Rock beats Hurd. And especially guys who came off losses and then come back to win a belt. I think it shows that in boxing, you can't take anybody lightly. A lot of times we like storylines, and it's just like, yeah, these guys are undefeated and gonna win, and especially after Mayweather, everybody wants to be undefeated champion. These guys took losses and won the belt, so I was kind of happy with it, but I want to see the rematch, and then I would like to see the division unified since they got all the belts in the same promotional company. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, I didn't really score round by round, so I can't say oh, is it a robbery or not. I do think Harrison won based off of what the judges said. I agree with that. And then let them run the rematch. That's it.
All right, G.
Man, I thought it was a robbery. I had it 118, 110 for Charlo, But I will say this, that press conference I thought was really entertaining, but it was also, it revealed a lot about both fighters' characters, right? And so Charlo, clearly, he's not the best when it comes to the gift of gab, But I had a lot of issues with Tony Harrison during that press conference. Regardless of, besides the N words, the B words, the H words, the cornballs, and all of that stuff, right? The fact that he was talking about Charlo's, trainer, his promoter, and how they don't rock with him, and how the whole ankle injury was all concocted just to have the fight in December. To me, it's if we're both, if these guys are really champions, right, and they're really fighters, and you could have fought at the original date, you should have fought at the original date.
He made that up. He was saying, just say. He was like, just
nah,
say.
You know what I think what he did?
He was just okay,
he was going to get.
Like, he said, I'm the man.
So you didn't get in trouble. He's like, oh yeah, I'm just making up this story. Mm-hmm. No, you wasn't. You got on that stage and you told us the truth, And you could tell because Charlo looked so bothered on stage, So I believe that Charlo has people in his camp that really aren't rocking with him. And that was telling. And so the fact that Harrison could pretty much make up an ankle injury just to have it in December, that to me that was a sucker move. So even though he was winning with all the trash talk, it still doesn't matter. To me, that was just it shows your character. And the whole the gang stuff I thought was kind of stupid. But then when Charlo was like, yo, I had a hard life growing up. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention, if you say it in a dorky way, it doesn't sound cool. So Harrison bodied him in so many ways. It literally was I feel like this was Nas's ether at the press conference.
He told him to shut up. He was literally like, yo, shut up.
Yeah,
I was like, God.
He kept calling him all kind of stuff, and then Charlo's just eating it. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So clearly I agree with y'all. So far, Harrison is 2-0 when it comes to these press conferences. Now, in the fight, though, I do believe Charles going to get the victory. But the way Harrison's talking, he better win. be better.
He
You don't talk that beefy and not back it up. You know.
Ned?
Well, I didn't catch this press conference that just passed or the one that you all are speaking about, but honestly, I guess from what y'all are saying, it's getting the best of Charlo. And
I don't want you to guess what we're saying. I want to know if you saw it and if you have
see
it.
it.
So did you see the first fight?
I saw the first
Who do
fight.
you think won
I
the
thought
first
Charlo won, but you know, like I was at that fight, and it was the crowd. Everybody was going crazy when they felt like he was robbed. So in the second fight, his brother, I thought his brother kind of like that. They gave his brother that fight because they robbed his brother. They robbed Jermell the fight before. So the rematch now, I think Charlo will get him back in the rematch. But this whole situation, going with the press conference, dealing with Harrison beating him, robbing him, and Harrison knows how to get under his skin. It's just like he's not handling it properly, and he should just like let it disregard all that, all the gang talking, all the unnecessary shit talking, and just handle it in the ring. Honestly, if he knows he could get him a second time, just get him a second time. But
can I ask you a question? Like, because I know you're about to answer, but do you believe Harrison's accusations of his camp, of Charlo's camp, now rocking with him?
Well,
Go ahead, we can spin around.
This is how I feel. I wasn't going so much off of that drawing back and forth because Charlo started. You gotta listen how I looked at it. Harrison came in this whole thing as, I'm happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy to be here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Giving Charlo and his brothers and everybody so much props. Then you got a guy that was just shitting on you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what basically Charlo was doing. And then he was sitting there saying, oh, and I know that you got knocked out in sparring. So, of course, what you're going to do is, you know what I'm saying, when you're argument, you know, when kids, when they argument, it's tit for tat. You know what I'm saying? You hurt me, so you're telling me about something that was private that's supposed to happen in my camp. So I'm going to tell you something private that, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And it don't even have to be true or not. Like, even with you're just trying to say one over the other. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like a tit for tat thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel.
I already went.
Oh no,
I was posing a question to all of y'all.
So for me, it's psychological warfare. And I think for starters, Jermell Charlo feels like he was robbed. So I think there is that internal belief that my team let me down. Did my team want this to happen? Why did they choose to rob me? And I think he feels that way. And so I think if you're Tony Harrison, it's smart to say, yeah, your team don't like you. Because he's already probably feeling like, why am I the one who got robbed out of all the people? Usually when you're on a promotional team and you're co-main event on a card, you get the benefit of the doubt. Well, he certainly didn't get that. So psychological edge, check that for Tony Harrison. Then he says, I postponed this fight so I can get you in December. Now you think your team doesn't like you, and now he's saying, I'm getting what I want. I'm the champ. I'm the A side. How's it feel to be the B side? Check that psychological box for Tony Harrison. And here's the thing with Jermell Charlo, and I think you guys said it, and I agree 100%. You're not good at trash talking. Jermell Charlo, you can't trash talk. For one, Mike, Jermell Charlo seems like a kid who, like, maybe he was cool in high school. And when you're picking on a nerd in high school, his trash talk would work. Because the nerd, the kid you're bullying, scared to say something back to you. Yo, Tony Harrison is not afraid to say something back to you. You know, and I actually like the Charlo twins. I'm a fan of the Charlos, although they seem to be regressing somewhat in the ring. But I like them. But I never really rock with Tony Harrison, but seeing him in this press conferences make me like him because he seems like a dude that would be here,
that we would rock with.
You know what I'm saying? And Jermell Charlo seeming like that arrogant dude who's like, yo, he ain't never been through what I've been through. Bro, we all been through something, yo. We black men in America, dog. Like, what have you been through that he ain't been through? That we all battle something. We all
They
dealt
didn't
with
say
something.
what's up to me, so I ain't said one over there.
Yo, we all deal with something, bro. Like, how you know Tony Harrison ain't been through nothing? You act like Tony Harrison comes from the suburban streets or somewhere, whatever. He's from Detroit. He wasn't born rich. Just because his dad's sitting there, like, just because someone knows their dad doesn't mean anything. So it's kind of like you gotta really assess what you're saying, Jermell Charlo. And when you say something like that, it makes real dudes not rock with you. Because you're telling this dude he hasn't been through what you've been through. And we're like, what have you been through? And then I saw the story, okay, you were like with your mom, single mom. She dropped you off to play football, dropped you off to play, go to boxing. You had to pick one. Yo, I haven't really heard your story where like your mom was a drug addict. You were homeless like Lamont Peterson.
You couldn't afford to get into none of these.
Yeah, like I didn't hear you. You don't have a story like Lamont Peterson. Then you don't got a story like Deontay Wilder.
Not even Adrian.
Yeah, you don't got a story like Lona. Like, what have you been through,
Not
bro?
Floyd.
Like,
you got a Floyd
you
story.
Got a story like Floyd.
When you was being your dad got shot
Your
holding
dad
you.
using you as a shield to prevent you from getting shot. So dude shoots him in the cab. Like Jermell, bro. You ain't been through all, like, yo, I've been through more than you. Real talk. I know your story. For real. Like, I've been through more than you,
I
dog.
don't know your story, but I can tell.
I know his story. I'm saying, I know his story.
I
know his story. I saw them tell his story. And I'm saying, I know I've been through more than you. But I don't walk around like that. My whole reason for why I'm going to be successful is not because I've been through more than someone. It would be because I'm more talented than you. Because I'm going to prepare harder, right? And so that's one. Two, like, you just don't have the gift of gab, Jermell Charlo. Like, you really don't. Like, he's more clever. It reminds me of Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Although Wilder was better with the trash talk than Jermell Charlo, Wilder held his own at times, but Fury just had that. It was just like, yo, Fury just got that. Like, sometimes, bro, you just got to get him in the ring and put him down, because sometimes the other person's just better at talking trash than you. Just say, keep running your mouth.
Yeah.
Like y'all used to do. I don't know.
Keep running your mouth. We changed. That used to be their thing.
Keep running your mouth. Just tell them, keep running your mouth. Then get him in the ring and knock him out. But all this trash talk, all this gang talk, like Complex was saying, like you trying to turn the mic on, it make you look bad. Now you got him there calling you all types of P words. And you can't do nothing. We know you can't do nothing, bro. You a prize fighter. So anything you do at the press conference is going to mess up the money. It's going to mess up the bag. You're going to Clarissa Shields the situation, right? You can't do nothing. So why act like you can do something? Even if you're the definition of a guy who's on probation, sitting next to someone who knows that you on probation, and then like you, they know you can't do nothing. Even if you the baddest man on the planet, you the baddest man in the world, you can't do nothing. You just like, wait till I get off probation. For you get off probation on December, was it 21st? That's when you get off probation, Jermell. You can't do nothing.
And another thing is to go off of what you're saying, and you said a long time ago when we was kicking it about the whole, and it's something that Tony Harrison said too. We said this though about Angel. And it had me thinking about Charlo. Angel caused Danny victories.
Garcia.
Yes. Yeah. Even he said it out of his own mouth. There's an interview with him on Fight Hype when he was like, it was me. I caused Danny these fights. The things that I said and the commission and how the commission. Yo, you don't think, because this was at the same place with the same commission, you don't, and with Tony Harrison, how you walk around here. You see the way you walk around here and the way that you act? Do you think, we seen that fight, and we all are in agreement, you know what I'm saying, that we thought that, Charlo won that fight. But do you think this was the commission teaching him a lesson because of the way he was acting? Because I was been saying it about him, how they was acting, running around the Barclays. And I was saying, if he don't knock it, was it them trying to teach him a lesson because of the way that these guys were sitting here walking around, talking and acting in the Barclays? This is not like you said it. Been a Charlo fan, when they used to look identically alike, when they had the same hairstyles and all that. These guys was much more humbler. These guys is, I don't know what's going on. and started hearing about the cocaine rumors and all that. No, I'm being honest. After I started hearing about the cocaine rumors and how them using cocaine to make weight and certain stuff like that, I started seeing like
weight loss plan.
Yeah, this is after I started hearing stuff like that.
Fat burner.
You know what I'm saying?
All night.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yo, people started saying that they were using the cocaine. Next thing you know, I started seeing them running around the Barclays.
Don't rock it till you try it.
The same. If y'all see my episode when we talked about Earl, I mentioned the Charlos in there too, with them running around drunk and acting like children at the Barclays. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I think. Maybe it comes to the point where sometimes these people want to teach these kids a lesson. Yeah, y'all want to call all this, you know what I'm saying? It's been racist comments that they made, you know what I'm saying? Getting more money than these crime. There's things that these guys have said in the past that I'm thinking, was this an opportunity for the commission or for these judges to humble him?
What about also? It wasn't Jermell. It was Jamal who was like he gonna pull up on Danny Jacobs, right?
Yeah.
And Danny rolled up on him like, what you talking about?
Yeah. That was another one. Danny Jacobs was hitting him look silly.
Yeah,
but Danny Jacobs is really
these guys like don't let the slick taste fool you, as they say. Like
it's a difference between acting street
and being street.
You dig what I'm saying? Like
Danny don't have
Brooklyn,
New York,
right? And Danny don't have to. He don't have to portray
He's
like
from Brownsville.
Yeah, he don't have to.
That ain't gonna work on him.
Exactly. He don't have to.
He was laughing at him.
He don't talk.
That's why I walked up to him.
No, and he said, when you talk about pulling up.
Yeah.
He said, there's a difference of pulling up. You mean you want to talk or something?
Yeah, like you want to fight?
He said, because I'm pulling up. He said, the pull up that we talk about is totally different. Oh, you talking boxing talk.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you talking boxing talk. Oh, okay.
You just talking.
Especially in this city. And you're in Brooklyn right now.
And then Danny shut him down. Like, I'm trying to make some M's. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he said, what are you talking? He said, he's like, so it's showing them, like, listen, y'all I don't understand this new era too. This new era. When do you wait until you're 20-something to join the gang? Like, this is the stuff that I don't understand. Like, with these new athletes and all these entertainers and stuff like that, like
they paying for protection.
You became like, this is stuff, and I've never in my life growing up, you know what I'm saying? Never joined the gang in my life. Never joined the gang.
Can I say something?
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all making them sound like some real cornballs.
And that's
not how we're making them sound. It's what they've done. It's what they put out there, bro. And we're saying we used to like them. We rock with them. I still like them. But I'm saying,
not personality-wise.
They're making themselves look bad. Like,
you know what I think it's akin to is like, you know, AAU basketball. Kids at a young age get thinking that they're about to be a superstar, right? Mm-hmm. So they get the ego fed and they get those wins and they get whatever, and then they get humbled later on in life, and they're not ready for that. I think what it is with the Charlos is that they are good fighters. They're good boxers, both of them. And I think they just reached a point where they're getting the PBC push, they're getting whatever. They're just wilding out because they think I'm the man, and they think I can't get touched. Until they do get touched, so they've been saying all this stuff, and then they get called out on it. Now, when you've actually lost to Tony Harrison, even though maybe you didn't actually lose, but you lost to him. Now you got to come from the point of the perspective of, I'm coming from behind. I'm the guy who has to prove myself now. When Charlo Jacobs ran up on him, he didn't have much to say because now it was real. It wasn't just like talking, now it's real in your face.
And that was a different brother.
And that was the older brother, elder brother. But that's what I'm saying. Both of them kind of were brought up from a young age, and now they got this push by PBC that they think they're the man until they get knocked down. So, are we done?
Yeah, we're good. Keep going.
Anyways, so just to wrap it up, so they think they're the man, but the thing is, in boxing and in life, you got to always prove it in the ring. And in this case, he lost. So he's got to come back in the rematch. Winning the rematch and all that talking doesn't matter. Nobody cares. You knock him out in impressive fashion, whatever, nobody cares about that anymore. That's old news.
Thank you.
As good as your last fight.
You ain't as good as your last fight. I totally agree with you, my brother. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. This is the Boxing Bros.